bit of spirit.
Yeah. What's your stack at currently on the Relic of Asgard?
I am at 40 on the melee damage one.
Okay, cool. And about the artifacts, you just talked about it. Pim is a must for you, especially in this build. Which was the other one that you currently use?
There's two options. For full DPS, the Yukio's Charm. There's really nothing that beats it. The super heroic one. Mine does 574 damage rating with any melee power.
Yeah.
So as we talked about, where I'm getting double than that, I'm getting over 1,000 base damage on that. And it's also got a nice little 3,180 health regen every minute. So it's a really strong one. I also will at times use the Mott's Arrowhead. And I think we talked about that earlier. That allows you to get spirit back whenever you proc the bleed on it. It has a 13% chance to bleed. But once again, when we're talking about that coefficient, that 2.0 coefficient on that skill doubles any chances to do things also. So that actually goes up to 26%. So that bleed is on quite a bit. And it's 3,000 a second. So it's not an insignificant amount of damage either. Plus it gets me spirit back quite easily.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm also using the Yukio on my Emma. I think it's great that they made these heroic and super heroic artifacts because they're actually useful now. And especially, I haven't considered Arrowhead yet, but like you said, if you apply the bleeds, you just get more spirit back than that you hit for. So it's cool that they give us more options with the artifacts.
Yeah, I do like, actually all of the new ones are pretty good. The motion tracker gives some pretty good range damage and some crit there at the super heroic version. I mean, they're all pretty good. The one that works with movement powers, the Khazars, has some pretty good usefulness too.
Cool. The medallion, you talk about the Doom medallion. You keep gonna use it even if it's nerfed, and what are the other options?
Well, it's nerfed for the time, but it also has some nice little benefits that it's getting too. It's gaining like upwards of 1,000 health, which is really nice, and the damage rating's going up. And once again, like I said, damage rating for me is pretty much where it's at. Everything that I do is in my build is revolved around getting that damage rating up higher because I get more benefit out of it.
Yeah, for your main attack, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to get that one. I probably will stick with the Doom, although they did say they're buffing some other medallions, so I'm going to have to take a hard look at what's all available out there. Some other really good options for him are like I said, the Magneto earlier. The biggest problem with the Magneto is a lot of Panther's damage skills are energy, and Magneto does physical damage. However, if you're using the Knockdown Strike build, Knockdown Strike is physical, so that's a big boost to that. And then, of course, the spirit reduction, so that can really help there. And a few other ones. We don't really look into crit too much, but things like a bullseye might be okay. And actually, the Sauron medallion is one I've kind of become kind of big on too, because it gives crit rating, but it also gives the base damage rating, which is kind of what we're looking for with Panther. So it kind of gives both those. But crit rating is not a huge issue for us because we get so much of it from our passive, or our not technically a passive, but the toggle, the Panther speed.
Yeah. Cool. Then on to the costume. Which physics are you looking for?
Once again, for me, it's all about damage rating, so I definitely am pushing the damage rating on those two. All four of mine are damage rating. You can get up to 1,000 total damage rating on your costume. I have about 820, so I've got pretty decent rolls on mine out of those. So, yeah. And then the core, you want a lifesteal. That's almost a mandatory because you're doing so much damage that it's your best way to regen your damage is through the lifesteal core. And then fighting skill is another big one because that puts you up to rank 7 fighting, so that gives you reduced cost on your fighting powers, attack speed on your fighting powers, and extra damage on them too, and a little bit of damage reduction. So it's a really strong deal with that. You could also look into like the 25% spirit on medkit. That would probably be another good one for him.
Yeah, cool. Then on the gear, before we go to the 5 last slots, I want to ask something because it's something I had on my mind myself. What do you think of the way that you can buy the gear now with the splinters? It's something new in 1.2. What I did on Emma, because I have ultimate pack, so I don't need the splints. I just bought 5 cosmics. What do you think about that?
I'm okay with that. I like that there's the ability to get their cosmics that way. Because really, what you're looking at is the time that it would take you to get 25 splinters. Now, I do understand that, if you use the cards and get your splinters, there's a way to buy it, and there's a little bit issue there, but I'm more looking at the time to play, to gain 25 splinters.
Yeah, it's 42 at the moment.
Or 42, that's right. It was 25 on the
test,
yeah. Edition, and that's why I kind of mixed up. Plus, once you get those, you don't need to get the 42 anymore. You just get 25, and you buy yourself an unstable molecule, and you go re-roll your cosmic if you don't like what you got. There's no reason to buy anymore after you've got probably 2 of each, because you want to have one and then re-roll the other one until it's better than the first one, and then just replace it. So.
Yeah, I have the same. I do the same on Emma. So yeah, let's go to the weapon. What is your current weapon, and what are you looking for on the weapon?
On the weapon, you're looking for one of the biggest things is probably plus physical damage and plus energy. If you got that combo, it's really nice, because that covers your energy skills, which are your basic attack, savage strike, all your bleeds, and then also the physical attack gets your knockdown strike. And like I said, we're really focused on damage rating here and getting that base damage rating up as high as we can. So those are big. Plus, you also want to look at your plus ranks. You want a high plus rank to knockdown strike, because we want to get that as high as we can. So mine currently it's actually just a purple. I haven't found a good cosmic to replace it yet, but it's a level 60. It's got 298 damage rating on physical, 344 energy, plus 8 to knockdown strike, and then plus 1 to current rank of all ritual warrior powers, which is the second tree, which includes knockdown strike, as well as savage strike and panther speed, and a few of those other ones. So it really is focused around getting the most damage rating and then benefiting knockdown strike as best as possible.
Sweet. There was a unique weapon for Panther. What do you think about that one?
I'm not real high on the unique weapon. It does have a nice crit rating and some crit damage, which is nice, but like I said before, we generally have a pretty high crit rating, so the diminishing returns kick in, and we're not going to get a whole lot back out of it. Although it is nice. It's like a 500 crit rating, so it's a big boost. The big problem I have with it is it's the same 588 damage rating. A lot of them you'll see have a higher damage rating, but this is like the base of a level 60 item, and there's no additional damage rating on it. So where we're trying to get that damage rating up as high as we can, that's not a very good item for being able to use it. It does give a big boost to each of the 3 basic attacks, which, as I said earlier, I don't really use it that much. So some builds do run the heavy basics plus savage strike, and they get a little bit more use out of it. But still, it's not that great of an option. I think there's a lot better cosmics you can find for sure.
Cool. Let's go to the chess piece then. What stats are you looking for, and what do you have?
All the other 4 items you want spirit on. that's kind of a gotta have. I also like to get some reduced cost, because that helps a lot. We're really trying to maintain that spirit, and like your viewer said earlier, they're having a hard time with the spirit. So you want to focus almost all of this around that. So you want to reduce the spirit. So spirit and spirit reduction are really my main focuses. I also like to have, dodge ratings good on the chest, and health is always good when you can get a big chunk of health. So those are kind of the main ones there. There's a few others that are okay to have, but they're not really anything I'm looking for when I see an item. Okay.
About the cosmic effects, which one is the best cosmic for you? Is that actually the pets, or is that like just the damage?
The might is probably the best, because that's 679 damage rating, and we get double out of that on our knockdown strikes. So that's a huge one for him. Also, a big one for me is the cosmic devastation. That's my AOE skill, more as long with the trap, but that'll take out a lot of your white trash when that goes off. In just one shot, that devastation, and it's a wider area than the trap, so it's really kind of a nice one to have there. Those 2 are probably the biggest one. The pets, not so much, because I've got pets, but they're also nice to have too. You can throw pets in there.
Cool. One thing I was wondering, I don't know the answer to, is if you grow and get more damage rating, do these stack if you have more, or do they not stack? Do you know that?
What's that?
If you have like two items which give you increased size and damage rating, when both effects go off, do they stack?
No, you'll only have the one active at any time. So you really only want one of those. You want to try to get one of each of the different ones. To be honest, it doesn't always work that way, but it is probably your best bet to get one cosmic starfall, one cosmic devastation, one might, one demon, and whatever the other one is. Oh, the invulnerability is nice too. So
I just want to say I am a believer of your build. I just respect, and yes, please, thank you, and I'll take 2.
Cool. Well, that was a lot of information about Panther. We've been on here for 1 hour. First of all, I'd like to thank you again for your time, and I'm taking questions from the chat. So please, chat, if you have questions, ask them now. And I have another question. Do you also like to go through Hawkeye? Do you have time for that?
Yeah, we can go through Hawkeye if you want. I got some time. If you have time, or we could schedule another day too if you like. Either one works for me. But definitely I'd be glad to answer questions, and we can go through Hawkeye if you'd like.
Cool, that's great. Then I suggest we do Hawkeye. I need to get me some water because always when I talk I get a dry mouth. Give me 2-3 minutes and I will be back. So
that's a pretty good idea. I'm gonna grab some myself.
Cool, great. And again, I cannot thank you enough, but I will do that another like 10-20 times because I think this is a great. So I'll be right back.